Hey everybody, it's James at Dream Better English, and I'm bringing you episode number 14, where we will be looking at Zoom interview tips. Now, if you have recently landed a job interview, there's a big chance that it won't be in person. Interviews are one of the many things that companies are now conducting or doing virtually or online. Now, in-person interviews aren't quite a thing of the past, but Zoom interviews are quickly becoming the new norm. However, no matter how familiar you are with virtual communication, you will still need to be prepared. So let's look at some things that will get you ready and prepared before your interview. Okay, so you want to research the company. Now, ideally, you will have done this before applying for the job, but quite often people don't. They get an interview and they don't know anything about the job. So instead of just turning up at your interview without knowing anything and hoping for the best, get onto this company's website, research its products, its services, values, culture, and doing this before the call. Because that way, you can see if you're going to be a good fit for the company. Are you going to work well within this type of company? Now, prepare as well to answer and ask questions. Obviously, the most important part of interviewing is being able to answer questions clearly. You want to be able to communicate your experience and how it applies to the role that you are interviewing for. Now, employers typically ask behavioral interview questions to see how you have behaved in the past when confronted with challenges and how this will translate into the future when you are confronted with challenges. Now, a typical way to remember or to practice how to answer these questions is by using the STAR method. The STAR method stands for situation, task, action, result. So STAR stands for situation, task, action, result. Now, I will provide a link below so you can see some examples of how this can be used. And you want to practice those with a friend or in front of the mirror so that you have developed a system of tackling and answering these type of questions that you are ready to go. Okay then. One thing that often is overlooked or ignored by people is asking questions themselves to the interviewer. It shows that you care when you're asking questions to the interviewer about the company. It shows interest, and it can also set you apart, make you a bit different to the other candidates. Okay, so again, I'll be providing questions for you to ask the interviewer, and that will be in the link below. One of those certainly will be, what will the next steps be? Next up is planning and preparing your attire. Your attire is what you're going to wear. Now, although you won't be in person, you're going to be online, traditional interview attire still applies. You still need to look professional and polished. So when deciding what to wear, keep in mind that certain colors and patterns do not show well on camera. So you want to avoid what is known as busy patterns like stripes or loud jewelry. Okay, and again, there is a guide provided in the link below that you can look at. So test your outfit on the camera before and ensure that everything looks well on the video and that it fits properly. Schedule a time to dry clean or wash, iron your clothes a few days before the interview. So have your attire, your suit, your clothes ready a few days beforehand. Okay, and don't forget about your hair. You want to look and feel confident and comfortable during the interview, so avoid making any drastic changes to your hair. Have a plan for how your hair will be done and prepare in advance. Super important next is testing your tech in advance. Your tech is your microphone, your headphones, your computer. Now, there's nothing worse than having technical difficulties during an important call, and that's why it's very important to get familiar with Zoom before your interview. You can download the application on your desktop or on your phone. You can open up a meeting where you can be the only person, which will be host meeting, and then you can record it so you can practice answering questions, see how you look in your attire, and get familiar with what it's like to be on camera. Remember as well, you want to be looking directly into the camera lens, because quite often you will be looking at the picture of the person, and that picture could be in the bottom corner, and then it looks like you're looking down when you should be looking directly into the camera on your phone or on your laptop. Next up is recording yourself, seeing how you look online and watching it to find areas of improvement. This can be great help. Okay, so steps to complete immediately before the interview. 1, ensure that you have a stable internet connection. Okay, it's a no-brainer. No-brainer means it's really obvious. Perhaps you can make sure that the internet is connected from the wall, the Ethernet cable. Test out your sound. Use your headphones to hear clearly so that it blocks outside noise. Turn off notifications and put your phone on Do Not Disturb, silent mode, airplane mode, so that you're not disturbed during your interview. If you are using a phone, prop your phone up so you can be seen clearly. Make sure that it has a good view of you on the camera, and use a phone stand or support if you have one, and prepare your space. So before your interview, identify where you will take the call. The ideal location is one that is quiet, good lighting, and has a clean space that you can use for a background. Prior or before getting on video, do some last minute tidying of the area that will be in the video frame. Now, you might also consider, and this is a good idea, a virtual background if you want to hide or conceal areas of the room that you are in. Now, if you do choose to do and use a virtual background, make sure you're using a professional background and you have tested it before. Now, tips during your interview. So you've done everything to prepare for the interview, and now it's time to put your best foot forward, give your best impression. So while you're on the call, you want to be aware of your presentation and how you are engaging with your interviewer. So here are some tips to help you. Be mindful of your facial expressions and body language. Don't forget you are still on camera and you can be seen. Be mindful of your facial expressions. Make sure your body language shows that you are alert, engaged, and you are being professional. Speak clearly and slowly. You've practiced your interview questions and you have them nailed. You have them ready to go. You know exactly what your answers are going to be. So make sure that your answers can actually be heard. So speaking clearly and slowly so that you can effectively communicate all of the great accomplishments to your interviewer. Be confident. Confidence, or a lack of confidence, can be spotted a mile away. It can be really noticeable. So show confidence by being sure of your answers, sitting straight and looking directly into the camera lens on your laptop. Listen before you answer. Now, Although you may have an idea of what questions to expect, listen carefully to what is being asked. And also, don't be afraid to ask for further clarification or for them to repeat themselves. So, in this case, if the question's not so clear, you'd say, could you clarify that for me, please? Or if you didn't hear very well, you could say, I'm sorry, I missed that. Could you repeat the question, please? Be positive and engaging. So now is not the time to speak negatively about your former employer. We want to forget about that. Instead, remain positive about your experiences and provide engaging dialogue. Now, what to do after your interview. So as your interview comes to an end, don't forget these last steps. Before the call ends, you'll likely be extended the opportunity to ask questions. And this is where you'll ask the questions you have prepared in advance. And after you've done so, thank the interviewer for their time, of course, and confirm what the next steps will be. Once you hang up or end the call, pause for a few seconds to ensure that you have fully left the call and that your microphone and camera are off. The final step in the interview process is to send a follow-up email thanking the interviewer for their time, and this also sets you apart from everyone else. It makes you look a bit different. Okay, some examples again will be in the link below and some very useful examples there. So I hope these interview tips have been useful for you and that they can come in handy when you have your next online interview or in the future. And thank you very much for listening, and I shall be talking to you guys very soon. So take care and have a very good rest of the week. All the best.